Brahmam Satyam Jagat Mithya is an expression Adi Shankara came up with, and what it simply means is awareness is real. Brahman is not something away from us or some big thing out there. It's our own being. Awareness is real, and the world is myth. Myth comes from the word mithya in Sanskrit. Many words in English through Latin and Greek, because ultimately these are all Indo-European languages. They trace their origin to Sanskrit in many ways. So the word myth comes from mithya. What it points to is this world is a myth. Myth doesn't mean that it does not exist. It just simply means that it has only relative existence. This word has caused confusion for some people. Even in India, many people debate it. Is the world an illusion? How can the world be an illusion when we see it? There can be endless debating around it. From an absolute standpoint, the world can be shown to be an illusion. As we said, even from a quantum physics perspective, it is the observer that creates the observed. So from the perspective of the quantum reality of the universe, there is no objects, there is no events. All of these are only created by the observer. So from an absolute standpoint, Shankara is of course absolutely right, but it is not our day-to-day experience. And this is why even with quantum physics, someone famously said, if you think you understand quantum physics, you don't. And the same can be said about Advaita. If you think you understand Advaita, you don't. Because it's not a mental understanding that creates this non-dual experience, if you will. So this mithya, this myth, this illusion can be simply seen as impermanence of things. Everything, starting with the body, is impermanent, and that impermanence alone is enough for us to see that it is only relatively existent, even if we admit its existence. The one other thing to point out is there is two ways to normally go into this inquiry beyond a certain point. We can easily see that everything is illusory, or everything is, let's say, impermanent, which may be a more palatable word to many than illusory. So everything is impermanent. Then the question arises as to what is permanent. As long as we try to know what is permanent, we are still in the play of the mind. This is the trap that one can get caught in. To know awareness, to know the permanent, to know God, that can be a trap of seeking that goes on for a long time. And there is always a division. One of the great things about stories is they bring home truth so beautifully in a way that sometimes abstract philosophy doesn't. So for those of you who may know, it may still be nice to hear, but those of you who don't know, in Krishna's life, so Mother Yashoda tries to tie a rope around Krishna because she wants to punish him as a child. And she brings a rope to tie Krishna, and the rope is not able to cover this little child. She is mystified, so she brings another rope. She tries to cover him again. It still doesn't suffice. She keeps on adding the size of the rope, but for some reason when she brings it around, the rope becomes not enough to cover him. She does this for a long time, and then she gets tired. And then she says to Krishna, Krishna, I am not able to tie you. Please help me, I need to tie you. Then he smiles, and then she is able to tie him. So what this symbolizes is this attitude of the seeker to capture truth. And as long as we are trying to capture Krishna, capture truth, it's not possible. The moment we stop trying to capture and we simply be and surrender to him, he is available to us. So that's why Krishna, for some of you may know, has this term called Damodar. Every name of Krishna has a beautiful meaning to it. Damodar means one who has a rope around his waist, literally. And this very story symbolizes the whole difference between seeking to capture the truth and simply surrendering to truth. Instead of seeking to capture the permanent, if we simply surrender totally, then he is available here and now. If we see it instead with love, the whole play of this divine, completely surrender to the play, then what remains is our own existence. We don't have to have any experience and try to capture it, but it's always available for us. So the way of simply accepting, surrendering the impermanent is the direct portal into permanence, not by making permanence or truth another object of seeking.